Hi, good morning, traders. Welcome to another session of Market Snapshot. This is Robert from FX Pesatika. And so today we'll be looking at the news of the day. And basically, we all know what's happening today. We have the US CPI, and that is something that will really move the market moving forward. And so as we wait for the news, let's decipher and see what really we guys as traders are expected to look at in the market. So welcome everyone who's coming in. Say hi over there. Let me know what you're looking at today. So basically, I will be looking at my FX book. I'll be looking at my Forex Factory, and so right now we need to really look at the news later. If you look at the calendar right here, at 4:30, we have the core inflation rate month on month, January, and then we also have the USD CPI January. And then, of course, now we have this one, the inflation rate year on year, January. So if you look at what's happening, the previous inflation was at 3.4%. So consensus, that means traders are expecting this to be at 2.9%, right? So that means there's a drop in inflation. And if that's the expectation of traders, that means that we should be looking at rate cuts, right? And so that means the depreciating of the dollar. And so our goal as traders is to make sure that we maximize on the volatility. But then again, let's have a look at maybe the technicals and see what the technicals will be telling us moving forward. And remember, we normally say the best traders are traders who combine both technicals and fundamentals. So let's look at. Hello, Malombe. Hi, Victor. Hi, Ms. Karani. Hi, everyone. So as we go through this, kindly prepare your questions. I'll be looking at them later towards the end of the session. And so let's go back to this and see how this plays out. So like I said, this is Forex Factory. Let's look at that was my FX book, sorry. Let's look at Forex Factory. And so Forex Factory also, we have the core inflation also, the same data coming out. And so we need to really have a look at that and see what plays out. So what's Forex Factory telling us? So the Jan numbers were 3.4%, and of course now the forecast was 3.2. And of course we know that what happened when these arose, that all of a sudden there was so much volatility in the market, right? And so let's see how that plays out moving forward. So let's go to our charts and let's have an educational analysis on what to expect from the market, right? So I'll be sharing my MT5 and we'll just analyze a few currencies, a few assets, and maybe see how the markets are geared towards the end of towards the start of the New York session, sorry. So I'll be sharing my MT5. In the meantime, guys, if you have any question, please feel free to hit me. So now let's have a look at maybe USD card. Let's have a look at the projection. This is a projection I did last time. Apparently, I did a recorded version of this. And so we can see USD card, this was on Tuesday last week, right? So if we look at this day, I think it was it 6th? Yeah, 7 days ago, right? So I had made this projection that USD card will be rising to that area, but unfortunately it didn't hit that area as I expected. But then again, the downward move went as per the projection. And so let's have a look at USD card today and see what are we expecting from this currency. Let's go to higher timeframes. A good trader is one who looks at the higher timeframes first. So we can see that USD CAD on this particular time frame on the weekly is on the 50 EMA. This is a moving average, and so it's still oscillating around that area. And so our work as traders is to look at possible outlooks. So I'll just remove this projection from last time. So we have that clean chart. And so let's go to lower time frames, the daily, and see what the daily has for us. So we can see the moving averages once again over here playing out as areas of resistance. And so this could be the reason as to why we have that whole accumulation on lower time frames, right? And so there seems to be a downward move on this trade on USD CAD. Let's have a look at H4. Basically, we're trying to get a directional bias on this trade, right? And so on H4, we can see you can see the trade has been moving through the 200 and the 50 EMA, right? So we really need to have a look at some of these moves and see what will happen as a day trader. What will be the expectation? So in this case, as a day trader, maybe you'll want now to zero in on lower time frames, H1. So the trend seems to be bearish, as you can see. So maybe moving forward, we expect that USD CAD will continue downwards. And so if we were to map it out, this is what probably we'll be looking at. Being a Tuesday, we need to look at the lowest price last week, right? So lowest price last week was, I think this was the candle over here. So this must have been it. So if we map it out, so if we map that low, then moving forward, what we expect is maybe USD CAD will probably would want to go to this particular price area. This was yesterday's high. So maybe what we could see on USD CAD will be this push. That push, and maybe now a down move. So that will be the bias on USD CAD as an intraday trade. And so if we go now to M15, let's see what M15 presents. So we can see that's a possible outlook on USD CAD, a move to the upside and then a downward move on USD CAD. So remember, this is purely a dictional analysis, right? Let's look at GBP USD. What are we expecting on GBP USD? We can see it's already hit the 800 EMA. And let's see higher time frames. Remember, our bias should be on higher time frames, and then we come down to lower time frames. So if we go to higher time frames, maybe we'll want to see areas of resistance. And in this case, we have maybe if we were to map these, then we should probably map this area. 2682. That's a possible area that we could encounter some resistance. If we go to lower time frames, we can see a 200 moving average that particular price level. And yeah, so if we were to look at opportunities on GBP USD moving forward, so what would be the outlook? Now I would. This is remember, once again, this is purely additional. I would want to see a push to the upside on USD CAD. Sorry, on GBP USD. Remember, GBP USD is very volatile, so getting to 2682, it's so easy for GU to get there. And then probably after that, maybe we could see now a downward push, maybe to these lows as we go into CPI later from 4:30 Kenyan time. East African time for our clients in Uganda. So this is a possible push on GBP USD. Right, so maybe we could see that action play out maybe today. And basically what we normally see as traders is that make sure that you have confirmations before you take those positions, right? So what it is that you're looking at, can you see double bottoms? Can you see which pattern can you see? Is it a reversal pattern? Yeah, so make sure that you take note of that before you pull that buy or sell. So that's the outlook on GBP USD. So let's have a look at Euro USD. What is the bias on Euro USD? So if you go to higher time frames, let's look at the monthly. So the trend is still bearish on the monthly, and then let's have a look at, yeah, we can see that resistance on the 50 EMA. What about the daily? Yeah, the trend seems to be bearish. I think I had mapped out an area 105.45 at the bottom over here. That's a possible area we should be headed to. It's based on what? Let's have a look at these higher time frames. So what's interesting is we can see the moving averages are yet to cross. So if we see this cross of the 200 and then the 800, then this will lead to a further downtrend. So what we expect probably will be a push up, just like GU, maybe push up to maybe this area, 84, 0784. If we go to H1, maybe we can see that moving average, a push to that area, and then maybe a downward move. So we could see that push, or we could see a test of yesterday's high. That's also a possible area where we should see maybe Euro USD hit that area and then a downward move. Yeah, and so we should probably see as an intraday trade. Sorry, guys. An intraday trade, we should see a test of this low, last week's low. So it's a possibility that Euro USD could push up to maybe yesterday's high and then maybe now come back down as we head over to CPI. So that's a possible outlook. Remember, once again, we repeat, this is purely educational analysis, right? So this shouldn't be the only reason as to why you're taking those trades. You should make sure that you're looking at your own outlooks and see whether maybe that's in line with what you're looking at in the market. But that's a possible move we should see on Euro USD. That's a possibility. So let's look at AUD USD. How's AUD USD performing? So AUD USD, we know AUD USD is sluggish, but it doesn't move a lot. But so what will be the possible outlook? Once again, maybe a test of this high, maybe a test of this yesterday's high could be a possible area that we could see sellers coming in, and then possibly the market will, after that, push to these lows. Right, so this is a push to that high, and then maybe later we could see a downward move. Yeah, so that's a possible outlook also on AUD USD. So these are intraday positions that you're looking at. Now, let's look at NZD USD. I'm already in these positions. I'm already in this position, as you can see. I'm up 43 pips on this trade. What was my bias? Let's have a look at that. So I got in at that particular high. That was last week on Friday, right? I was looking at this area. So if we go to higher time frames, once again, let's see what I was looking at. So I was looking at this candle. We can see this candle over here. This was the area that I was looking at. that was the possible area that was seeking, and we can see when market came to that particular price level, so we can see the wicks. We can basically, when we see wicks, we are looking at the downward pressure. We don't know, these were buyers at some point in time. This candle was so white up until here, but then again, the sellers in this particular area were pushing this market down, right? And so the reason as to why we were looking at that was because also, if you look at this candle over here, which could be acting as actually, which was the entry that I had, these bearish order block over here was the reason actually why I entered, right? So the sell on that position. And so moving forward, what we should expect is maybe a continuation of the downtrend. But then again, just like the other pairs, we could see an upward move on this pair. Maybe let's try and see what could happen. Maybe NZD USD could end up pushing to maybe the Asian high, today's high, maybe this area, or even yesterday's high. We could see a possibility of this retest to this high, right? And then a downward move. So if we go to H1, let me use H1 over here. So I'll be mapping areas that we should probably be seeking as we move into as we move into CPI. So it's a possibility that we could see NZD USD go up and then push down for around 112 pips. So that's a possibility, right? And our work is to wait for the market to react and then take those trades with some bit of confirmations, right? So that at least you're able to take those good trades that have an edge. Remember, in trading, it's all about the edge, right? What gives you an upper hand? So let's look at USD CHF. So I remember I did an analysis on USD CHF, but then again, let's have a look at this. So what's the expectation on USD CHF? So we could see USD CHF hitting these highs. The first maybe area of resistance will be that moving average on the daily. If we look at other time frames, yeah, that's a possible area. But right now, intraday, maybe I would want to map this area over here. So intraday, this will probably be what we'll be expecting. So maybe we should expect a hit to this high. $88.30, and then maybe we see a move, maybe a downward move before another move to the upside. Remember, our goal on this particular trade will be maybe resistance at 88.61. And this probably will coincide with maybe if the CPI came out positive, then that will coincide with that, as that trade will probably push to 88.61, maybe at around 435 therein. Yeah, so on lower time frames, I would really want USD CHF to drop, right? Rise, drop, and then maybe push up during the news. That's a possible outlook on this particular pair. Let's look at Nasdaq, the UT 100. So UT 100 has been hitting higher highs. And so if we were to look at this, and remember, in most cases, if you really want to trade Nasdaq, the right time will be from 5:30 Kenyan time, right? And I believe this is East African time. So at around 5:30, that's when you'll see the UT 100 hitting those positions. And so if probably if we were to look at this trade, let's look at this move. My outlook on this one will probably be maybe Nasdaq gets to this particular price level, and then maybe now we they will give us an opportunity for us to buy cheaper and then push up. That will be the outlook on S&P 500. Sorry, Nasdaq. Sorry. So that is what we really expect on these particular trades. And so let's look at gold, XAU USD. What are we looking at on gold? So on the monthly, we can see the bear move. And this will probably coincide now with what we're expecting maybe on these other pairs, a downward move. So let me just delete these. So if you look at the weekly and then you look at the daily, there have been a lot of downward push on this pair since the start of the year. So we can see that downward move. So maybe what we'll be expecting on this trade will probably be a test of January's low, last month's low. This is a possible area that we should probably see gold hit, maybe during the news or maybe as we close the week. So let's see, the push could be the push to the upside and then a downward push on gold, right? But the bias will still remain maybe short. But then again, remember guys, this is purely educational analysis. Your goal as a trader is to make sure that you have those confirmations as the market plays out. Right, so that's basically what I'm looking at in the market. Okay, so let me have a look at your questions. Hi. Can you change the background color of MT5? Sorry, I'm using black because of my eyes. It's all, I don't know whether you're not able to see that, Maureen. Karani. Yeah. So Maureen, hello, kindly help me on how to calculate pip value and margin level. I've been making mistakes. So I'll just actually use something over here. We have a tool that makes your work easy. You know, it makes your work so easy. And so let's have a look at that tool, the Web Trader by FXPesa. So this will help in calculating. So let's log in. Web Trader. So this is how you calculate. So go to webtrader.fxpesa.com. You have an account already, so it will be easy for you. So if you're looking at maybe whatever currency, let's say NZD USD, right? So if you tap that currency, on your right over here, you can see the lot size, right? Different lot size. So if you're using 0.01, the pip value on NZD USD is $0.10. And the required margin is 1.53. So this is the amount of money you're required to have before you take this position and maintain your position. So with your $2, you can easily take a position on NZD USD. And then if let's say you're selling, you just need to come here. Start off with your stop loss, of course. Remember, you're not traders, you're risk managers. So let's say you're looking at a stop loss of 20 pips and a take profit of, let's say, 50 pips. So remember, you should have a good risk to reward, right? So if you're risking 20 pips, your take profit should be 40 pips and above. So that makes it a risk to reward of 1:2, right? So in your case, you see the web trader by FX Pesa calculates this for you. So you'll be losing $2, and if that trade hits your take profit, then you'll be gaining $5. Maureen, I hope I've answered your question. So if let's say you're using a lot size of 0.10, you just come in here, just have that 0.10, your stop loss 20 pips, you lose $20 if that trade goes against you. But if the trade goes as per your analysis, then you should bank your $50. If you're using, and of course the pip value here is $1 for every pip, you know. And then the required margin is that you must have $15.26. So if you're using, let's say, one lot size, the same thing, pips value $10. So every one pip should give you $10. You know, so if that trade goes 20 pips against you, you will lose $200. If that trade goes 50 pips in your favor, then you'll have $500. I hope I've answered your question, Maureen. What moving average do you use? Victor, I'm using the 50. I'm using the 50, 200, and the 800. Malombe, I think I've answered that question. The 50, the 200, and the 800. Any expectation on the CPI? Remember, our work as traders is to react. But then again, I've shared the technical analysis, Martinez, and maybe have a look at that, see what your projection. But based on our projections, it seems like the numbers will come out strong for the dollar, right? Yeah, so that would mean the CPI probably will come out higher. That's what basically technicals are saying. But then again, we could be so wrong. So our work as traders is to wait for the market reaction and then take trades based on confirmations. Remember, this is not gambling. This is something that you can really analyze and take trades once they come to your predefined entry areas. Okay, anyone else with a question? Anyone with a question? So that's the outlook we've just looked at. So guys, make sure that as you go in, observe risk management. Remember, that's the holy grail of trading, right? So observe risk management and make sure that you're taking trades that are in line with your trading strategy, with your outlook. Otherwise, thank you guys for attending this session. Have a peepful CPI day. See you next week.